So much blood.
Prepare for battle.
Next label play. Next label play.
You lose face and life.
All good. They reject some, but trying to bounce back, you know. Get into my own as a co-caster here. A co.
30 seconds to battle.
Did you just? Yeah, okay. So I thought you said the upcoming team. Up and coming Nigma, classic up. That is true. The players, they might have been too.
The battle begins.
I came a long way to see you die.
Yeah, I feel like Vampire's been... I think a lot of these players kind of around Tani as well. A lot of these players, they've been around, it's just... Yeah, I mean, they're I feel like they're trying to make a starting. We say. Get this gear drafts. Personally, I'm quite the fan of this this man here with the big. The matchup seems to be quite favorable against what I've seen so far. They do have some kind of decent ways of dealing. Not bad against this. Team fighting is not exceptional from it, but it's okay. You have the chrono, you've got a blood red. But they're sort of lacking a bit in fight, I would say. Seeing as there's a deep on the other side. But their lanes are, they're quite strong.
Yeah, that's...
They have the Bloodseeker against Riki. Good matchup, good. They also have this Clockwork, he can hunt down some of these. Oh, the early timings are...
Yeah, that's the fair point to have here, right? Gambit, they've kind of gone for lane and snowball. And I think the interesting thing is kind of which team do you think has the edge if this does go quite late, right? Because on the one side, you have got this DP, this big team fight with the egg, you've got Slardar, right? But you have got a Riki compared to a Faceless Void on the side of Gambit.
Like the Riki is gonna be sort of this X factor. It kind of depends on what sort of start he gets off to. They have a decent egg killer, right? With Ina, the problem is that he has to show then to hitting this egg, which kind of makes it easy from target.
Yeah, that was the interesting part about when they switched it up and decided to get the Clockwork as the final pick, right? It's like, it makes sense from a laning perspective, but if Riki gets a good start, this game could be quite hard for Lorinov, right?
I think Lina tends to suffer against a lot of high physical damage, and anytime you have a Slardar in the game or on your team, you kind of do have already a lot of physical damage. So it's a little bit scary for him to play, but he has to back up the Oracle.
A little bit of brawling back and forth here. Miracle trying to actually secure this kill on the Vampire with the second jump in. The Cog's too late to save him. Miracle will get the first blood.
Yeah, I think the Cogs actually kind of hurt him there.
Yeah, he's going to want on the lane anyway, right? So it's not like it's a miss level because you have got the Blood Right Cogs combo. The catch, of course, is you can't really use it on the Riki.
No. The Cogs are, of course, good on the lane. But I think it sort of boxed himself in there. Not the best. Who does have a lot of armor and regen.
Yeah, it's not really a hero you want to be giving extra gold to, because I think kind of the recurring theme we see with Riki is it's not really a hero you can shut out easily, right? With all the armor and regen that he has.
Yeah, and yeah, might get a solo kill. Also, very nice rotation there from Kuro. He goes mid to help secure the rune. He dodges the stun. He picks up the regen. Although it doesn't grant him all that much regen, he does get harassed a bit by the Lina, and he might even go down here. The rotation still makes it so that no bottle for Lorinov. There's no refill right now for Lorinov. Helps Weeha a bit. Matchup, I think it should be a bit Lina favored, but right now Weeha is doing quite well with that extra.
But then Iron is immediately like, not so fast. Okay, you may have killed me, but that means I'm a good little bottle crow, as Lorinov will at least get a refill here. And it's about to be the 5-minute rune, so he should be pretty good for mana, but obviously, you know, his game's maybe a little bit simpler to play if he gets a good start, right? Like the Lina, you are always going to be this fragile glass cannon against that Slardar you mentioned against the Riki. Going in. The Cogs though, oh, they're doing
really
some work. Here. They actually just saved Melis' life.
Yeah, and the thing about Bloodseeker, Balvin is back. Look at this bottom lane, you see mind control already.
I mean, I expected a lead. I didn't expect him to maybe have that many denies over the faces forward, but I guess the Phoenix just makes it that much harder for you to ever trade.
Yeah, the Oracle was also there, not necessarily forced to rotate mid, but he did rotate mid, which buys the Slaughter a bit of extra strength in the lane. And yeah, it's not that easy to order. You can prime your bash towards the...
Yeah, and you don't really see Oracles usually go for an early point Fate's Edict, right? So it's not like you can stop Mind Control from fighting back if you ever try and pressure him.
I owe you one.
The Impis rune. He's going to rotate. He has got the Exo, so likely they'll just try and force a kill into maybe just take the tower here.
So much blood.
They don't seem to be aware of this on the side of Gambit. There it is, Exo out. Hein. He's just going to melt.
Dire's top tower.
Yeah, I think depending on how much damage they can actually do the tower, it could be worth it or not. I like the fact that GH
Radiant structures are fortified.
damage to the tower.
Well, they have the catapult, right? So catapult plus Exo, in theory, they could just burst through the entire tower here.
About
Radiant's bottom tower is
mind
under
control
attack.
Possible. Tower, yeah, down, so rotation definitely not.
Radiant's
More
bottom
Lorinov.
tower
He was able to
is
chip away at the tower a little bit in the mid, but not really an ideal trade for him. LSA will connect as we comes in, but there's no opportunity to kill. Lorinov, in fact, hasn't even leveled in the Laguna yet. While that's happening, Bloodseeker will fall in the top lane, but in the River, the fight's still going on. We will be able to back away, though, as Gambit not able to punish Lee on his arrival in the mid.
Yeah, they wanna do some tower as well. Clockwork rotated mid, then quite a strong combo. You get done and the damage. Hard for Bloodseeker.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those situations where you maybe wish you had Ein up there, right? Because at least then you'd have a dispel, but
under attack.
it's not really a lane matchup that would have made sense from the get-go, hence why they went with the Clock plus Bloodseeker instead.
Hard to say, to be honest. I think the Clockwork feels kind of out of place in this lane, no matter where he goes. That's why it's a little bit of a curious. Just like the Oracle, he good up top. I remove the ink. Be quite happy up there helping the Blood Void, then would be bad. So
yeah,
Clockwork pick being a bit sort of so far maybe a little bit underwhelming in wanna commit to the lane. maybe not the ideal hero. If you get some levels there, they're quite strong with the Oracle. You have quite a bit of damage. They're laning alone. It's like they invested quite a bit in. It does seem a little bit off.
That's a fair point. Like you said, the Oracle would have worked top, but it's just the case of like Clockwork against Phoenix plus Slardar does absolutely nothing. So it seems they were trying to give Vampire, you know, the best of the worst situations possible for him. But they must have someone in mind. I mean, this, after all, this was their 10th pick. Like, if we look at it in the wider vacuum of the game, do we like it against some of these heroes at least, like with the initiation later on past the laner phase, like up against the Slardar, for example, or the DP?
I mean, I think it's decent against the Grimstroke. I don't know, it's okay-ish against Phoenix. You can cancel the dive, but to me, the Clockwork pick is the mark. Especially being like the last pick. I feel like a lot of range here. To me, at least, felt a lot. Anything to sort of lane stronger or their offlane. I actually think this offlane lane of Oracle Seeker would have been I feel like it would be quite difficult. Anything against that? And I think you could have gotten something for your felt much better. Player from the safe lane would have been fine too.
Now, clearly Vampire's heard all of this. That's why he's disconnected from the game right now. He's just like throwing and kicking stuff around his room before he comes back into the game, calm, Gumba. But we'll have to see. Like, they must have some sort of plan in mind. I mean, Chrono as the kind of big tool to play around, you could see its use in this game, but it's not like you've got this overwhelming combo. You have got decent damage early on, right? But I wonder what's going to happen in terms of scaling for this Void if he doesn't have the items later on, right? Like, will they actually have the burst damage in these Chronos if Kasani doesn't get a good start to this game?
I definitely think Kasani needs quite good start. Has to get a fairly early beekeep, but not to be surprised. That's almost the only way you can go, especially when you're up against them. Very quickly. The silence from D. Even the Phantoms and Break. Very hard to deal with. Can potentially get Manta, but it's also quite useless.
That's true. There's just too many things to get rid of from Manta to be viable, right? Like, you're already listing them there when you got the silence to deal with on the ground as well as the DP one. You got the Press of Haze. Maybe BKB the simpler way. Does feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure on Laurenoff as well to have enough behind him. And with the Chrono there, they'll have the damage to bring down GAs. They are going to try and take this tower, but Miracle is here. Exo has been activated, and Nigma are going in straight on to Laurenoff. Will force him away. Melee's run over the high hills, but they're hot pursuit here. Bloodright to try and cover him, but they've already lost Lina. They're going to lose the Bloodseeker as well. And now they might actually end up losing more. On the side, Vampire is going to be chased down, found out. So sure, you get that kill in the GH, but for that big investment, it's going to cost you 10 times more. As not only will they get your lives, they'll get your tower.
Yeah, I think the idea behind the rotation is good. The idea of this Void coming mid with his Chrome Fire, I think it's a good idea. It's just going on this mix, I think, maybe would have been. No, I actually think it's probably worse.
He's a level 5 Phoenix, right? That's the thing.
Exactly, you're committing Chrono and so many spells to this. Even the Bloodright was thrown out. I think if they just held on to some of the spells, they could have maybe taken the fight after. But when they commit the Chrono to this one kill, you know, get it with the Lina Stun or a Rupture, whatever, just... I think then it's all of a sudden fine, because you have the Chrono as a backup tool. Fight these Bloodright right now, you're incredibly strong. Bloodright. A lot of damage if you can hit 2 people. Have the spell follow up. The idea is good, but going on the Phoenix is not something you can afford to do with this.
Doing that Phoenix. You set up around top as they are pushing in here. It'd be curious to see if they're going to try and defend this as Nigma, because you haven't got the Exo, but your opponents now have Chrono, and you are about to get 6 on GH.
Radiant are scared.
Let's TP in. Bloodright from Melee's. Nice move across from GH to dodge out damage. Hook shot in from Vampire is going to be good, though. And let's say we'll zone away Miracle. Miracle looking to re-engage, though. Cogs have been pushed down. Clockwork going to be turned around onto. He can't even get the kill on GH in time. He's just going to feed one over. The egg is going to be used to dodge out the blood right. Miracle able to do the same. Doesn't even need to move and worry about that rupture. They have repelled the forces of Gambit. And the hunt. Nice silence. We'll stop leaning from stunning him. He needs to get out. Laguna's going to get him low. He gets killed by the Dragon Slave. Now that was very confident coming out from Wii. But luckily, Miracle's doing a turnaround. Loronov's going to be picked off. Oracle didn't have a chance to save with the false promise. Beautiful use of the smoke screen coming out from Miracle. Will force Iron to use his ultimate on himself. But now the Soulbind will stop the clockwork from re-engaging. Instead, it's going to be Miracle going, and he's trying to hunt this kill down. Bloodright's going to be there. Miracle needs to dodge out, is able to escape. Inkswell means they do not want to pursue him either. Kasani is now going to arrive. Has got the Chrono again. Jump in. There it is. Chrono out to Miracle. Low enough that he should be able to easily clean up this kill. In fact, Iron is sure to yoink it away from his own carry. And they'll hunt in looking for Kuro, but the TPs are coming in. Nigma say, whoa, wait. This is very early game. We're ready to fight again. You want to go? I mean, they have the
You want to bring numbers.
They go. Inkswell, the mass stuns that are going to be here, avoiding a bit of trouble. Burns through, getting him low. It's going to get him low enough, though. He should be able to move away the time. But Rupture's going to come out. Wii has used the Exo, but is stuck standing here now, unable to move. They'll at least get the clockwork kill. But not the big one they were looking for. They need more value out of this Exo. Bloodright's going to get him low. He's gone for the second time. Gambit!
It's nothing.
Wii is just the gift that keeps on giving right now.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of value. Lina stun got a lot of value out of this Clockwork. Even though Clockwork did die, he's providing a lot in the and now like Lorno kind of bouncing back a little bit in the game. He had a not the best start to the like you said, we sort of gifting away a couple kills, committing a bit too much.
Most definitely. You know, the first two Chronos we've seen, like that second one was better. It got a high target, high priority kill, right? But if you use that Chrono and then Nigma don't rush to make a play in response, you feel like, maybe they're not getting as much out of these early ultimates as they need to on Gambit. But the way Nigma are trying to force the matter, which we know they love to just kind of relentlessly run their opponents when they think they're ready, it's starting to backfire a little.
Yeah, definitely. They did have a force. Yeah, I mean, Lina's game is kind of stabilized. He even found the top spot in terms of the Void. He's gonna queue up the Manta style. We'll see if he can hit. There's now a blink on Slaughter though.
Dire's structures are
I would say the difficult portion of this is gonna start now, and also once the Soul Blade gets completed by Miracle. But the Burner Gold.
Jump in. Found him. Inkswell's going to stun him up. Silence on to Kasani. No way to escape that gank.
You let your
So that difficult period you're talking about, is it going to last only a small amount of time, or is it starting to feel like it might end up being indefinite? Because it's such vampire, half his health instantly gone.
Your stain spreads no more.
Yeah, I mean, I think this combo now is going to be quite scary. You got Inkswell, right? Can pretty much kill, I think, almost any hero. Oracle is not close. Maybe the Bloodseeker could survive, I am not sure. All of them are targets. Miracle is... That's gonna become a huge...
Yeah, also we getting very close to Yules, so the likelihood he just gets picked off by the casual Blood Rights like he has the last two times, it shouldn't be there anymore.
So much blood.
Appropriate timing for that.
Gonna make it so much easier for that Yules. I mean, you can remove it with the odds of that happening are
no,
not at this point of the game. It gets so close.
And it might screw over what Melez is going towards next as he's building into the ATOS. Understandable in this type of game, right? You need to try and catch the Riki in between that diffusal timing towards his Manta. Obviously, after Manta, not really going to be feasible, but I mean, the lockdown to try and catch Miracle right now does feel a little bit limited.
Sort of need to rely on find this Riki. Very hard to catch him out. Need to time a Blood Right. It's kind of hard to do since I think big thing about this Riki Oracle is sort of big key to Gambit's draft, I would say. With the Riki just being that if they need to play so many cent Oracle to realize in these fights, without the Oracle ult, you can pretty much just, you have to worry about this Riki slaughter constant Oracle. It's gonna fights. You get picked off, then pretty much your whole lineup just falls apart.
It's also the way you can kind of reset the combo they've just been using, right? The Inkswell jumping from mind control, like you can disrupt that as the Oracle. He's in fact the only one that can reliably do so. At least in a way that gets the target out, shall we say.
Yeah, and also right now, I think Nigma's cores, they're scaling much better into fighting than Gambit's. They need to go... You can see that the Void, he's feeling a little bit awkward now. Picked up this Blade of Alacrity and he's just up this BKB anyways. He kind of realizes that he actually has to go despite having Blade of Alacrity, which is delay his BKB timing by 1,000 gold, which is quite a lot at this portion. Like maybe an 18-minute, 19-minute BKB, 17-minute, gonna be quite the issue.
That's not even kind of considering how many times you're going to keep getting picked off by this combo before he reaches that BKB, right? That is the critical thing, is mind control with this much gold could happily, contently play the game for the next 10 minutes. Right? Let's not even consider the fact he's going straight for an Ags next. Let's just imagine he doesn't get an extra item. This combo just works for a very long time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Slaughter has a crazy... Got 1600 with a Bracer. Not very easily any of these heroes to kill. There's just Gambit has some damage issues.
The only person who's been easy for them to kill so far is we. The only one that really
and I feel like that hasn't really been. I don't know if that's so much like that he's been easy to kill, or that he's made himself available down.
Just one of those situations where you accidentally come up with the next innovative thing for the world. And you're like, yep, that was totally intended. $1 billion idea there. But the weaknesses that he's been kind of displaying should disappear for the most of that Yules, and then it's kind of a case of Gambit's only real target without a chrono is going to be Kuro. If you can find him.
Invisibility.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the nice thing for Nigma, I would say. That it's so much easier for Kuro to play behind his core.
Radiant's bottom tower
Gambit's catch is not really as good. Have the Slaughter with the blink, got this invisible. So much easier to hunt for support.
Lauren off. Mind Control has an invis rune. They know where Kuro is. The Mind Control, he knows he can't do this anymore. The moment he sees Inez there, he knows that there would be that Dispel save that would screw over the combo. Gambit, they're actually able to just breach past. The question is whether they can do anything, because this top area feels a little bit awkward to play around. I guess you're at least securing the farm zone for Kasani. But what are you losing elsewhere in the meantime?
Yeah, I mean, you get yourself 2 bounties. I think right now you can't really ask for too much. Kasani's gonna go back into the Manta style. It's gonna be tough for him, I think. Items.
One of those awkward moments where he just watched his teammates kill someone. He's like, oh, that's right, now I can return to my item. But just because they can find those picks, it doesn't mean you're safe when you're in the fight still.
No, and Nigma just gonna smoke up here.
No, it's nighttime. I think they would just shy of the vision. They'll jump on a different target instead. Straight forward onto Laurenov, trying to get rid of Mules is going to come out. Inkswell's going to miss. Hookshot trying to save False Promise out. Rupture onto Miracle does jump away, loses half his HP pool. The Chrono goes down. They're trying to heal him up the Submarine. The damage to Kasani might be enough for the Laguna. Yes, it is. And the Bash is coming out. GH can even get the egg off. He's going to dive back, hit the egg button, and ensure that Gambit cannot keep pursuing. We thinking about going in. Has got the X to play with. Yule's going to be there. Actually mistimed with the stun from the egg, but Melee's brought down to half HP. Silence down to 4 heroes. Kasani still hunting forward on the Kuro, trying to bring him down. No soulbind for 10 seconds, but it's going to be too late. He's dead. GH also to fall. How can they hunt and find more is the real question. Laurenov going to be turned around upon here. Has to use the yours still the LSA. The jump in from Mind Control cleans him up. Now Melee's more or less being ignored. Looks like Wee's going to be forced to fight here. As Kasani staying on top of him. Mind Control here to reinforce will force Kasani away. On the back line, looks like Ein has made his escape. So after all that Gambit, he should get on the better side of that fight, considering both sides use big ultimates and they get more gold. I say that, maybe I spoke too soon. They're back in. What are you doing here? Kazani! Just about gets aware of that. The hookshot reinitiation. Science is going to immediately come out on to the clockwork, stuck inside the smoke screen. He will pay a price for that. Oh, I think Piker, I love this game. Just so much action.
Yeah, with the way the fight starts, I think them going on the Lina and him being saved by Promise so to the tower. He's already committed, so he's already used his spells. He can't get out of this rupture without taking too much damage. The Crow comes in, they get the
Oh, jump in, Soulbind. Board on the Lorinov. Gonna burst down, used to buy a little bit of time, but that smoke screen's still down. He'll die. He's gone. Rupture was thrown out, which should allow them to retreat, but I mean, Nigma, they're not retreating. They're going back to the pit. Finish what they started.
Yeah, and that's that fight now. The second fight here, you don't have the false prop ready yet. Lina, he gets caught like this. All of a sudden, if you have the false promise there, I think it could be a similar story. Sure, you don't have your chrono, but still quite good for you. Now it's just gonna dead Lina and dead Road. Miracle and SAPPHIRE.
Drop in. Vampire not able to get it. It was a nice attempt. Will cost him his life, but yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's worth the risk. If he got his hands on the Aegis or even the kill on the Roshan, Gambit would have been very happy.
Yeah, I think that was like a very well-timed hook. Getting that Aegis. Luck. And Nigma with a very... trying to find the void, but...
Yeah, he felt safe there. I like that you brought up that case around the false promise, right? Like, we already highlight Gambit. They drafted with these lanes. They kind of maybe want to play the game a little bit faster. But now that they're relying more and more on Oracle, this hurts him that he's so underleveled, right? Like, being a level 9 Oracle with the level 1 cooldown of false promise means you won't be able to save fight after fight.
Yeah, he also needs to try to get to the... so he can get the cast range, play a bit further out into the... Ideally, you would want to have a Glimmer Cape, try to force up. I think the real issue is going to come... I mean, get this Nullifier on Riki. Not anymore.
I feel a little bit insensitive saying that he's underleveled, by the way, and then I look across at Vampire. Poor guy. We know who's been getting to eat the tomes in this one.
Yeah, and this is also the... That's the thing, right, about... pick is a final pick. I feel like no real impact in the lane. Even now, feeling quite underwhelmed. I'm curious, kind of what their idea behind it is. To me, it just looks a bit. It looks a little bit out of place. Even in Againts, it's sort of odd when you look at the lanes.
They found him. Bloodseeker's is done. No way he's gonna get away from this. Nicely done by We to catch him mid-TP with that yours. They're hunting for more as well. They found Ein. He's just been fought again with that false promise. I mean, you have to question if he would have been better off just dying. He might still die. The miracle jumping's going to be there. Long range with the final stab. He finishes off what he starts. And then, what? Vampire? Oh my. Gambit. I mean, they are just bleeding kills left, right, and center. But that Oracle death, especially Pike, I mean, do you just accept death in that situation? Because now when you're up, there's no false promise again for 70 more seconds.
Yeah, I think maybe you just accept your death. It's so hard for you to take fights without it. The thing is, Elina now, forced to War Staff, I think I would much rather. I feel like you need to scale. If you're gonna go for Staff, you're gonna go. Potentially you could go into the Pike and try to scale that way with... Eventually you're gonna play into this Nullifier, which is hard to use.
Yeah, it means you're putting all your eggs in this Faceless Void basket, and it's going to be a tough one for Kasani to carry with. You know, he's got a crap ton of gold, sure, but you have to get there first. Clockwork is not getting any more gold. He's given more over. Mind Control with the easy pick-off.
Middle tower.
Searching forward, looking for more. Will not jump further. Now, they have got the catapult. They've got level 2 Exo, but I don't think they need it to try and pressure onto this tower.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Then Riki pressure on the heroes, jump in. Melee's down to half HP. Miracle's going to keep backstabbing into him. Mind Control chasing in. Miracle needs to get out now, though. Yules is going to be there. He's got the Aegis still, so not the biggest deal, as long as they don't stun him when he comes back up.
Bottom tower is under attack.
They time the Blood Right correctly. Stun control, Mind Control, ensure face of Void. He can't do anything. He can't get the Chrono out. Yes, just has to retreat, which means they cannot punish Nigma for that. The Exo was used on the side. They will at least find GH. They do get something for their troubles. But Void unable to hit that Chrono.
I think that was very well played by Nigma. I mean, Miracle obviously going just kind of uncomfortable for it. Put them in sort of an unfavorable fish position. I think they salvaged it quite well. They're just kind of jumping the Void, forcing him to use Method and stunning him so he can't Chrono. But also I would say Xani, I think he had a better position there to take and then try to get there. Up any hero pretty much just to end.
Yeah, like your team's pretty deep, and Miracle, he saw how quickly he can die in the base, so it's unlikely he stays in there. So if you kind of cut the back line, then Miracle has no reinforcements. I guess is where you're coming from.
Under attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this Blink Dagger. He's got the kind of mobility to jump on people. The problem is with no Exo, you can finally see Gambit. Even though they didn't capitalize him, they didn't find a Chrono target. They're able to finally get out on the map and start to look for some sort of objective. Question is whether you can keep it alive. I mean, you don't really want to fall back to your safe area and just give Nigma 2/3 of the map again, but you might have to. They're smoking themselves.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You got your Chrono available. Can take fights here.
You just, I mean, if you're Gambit, you just hold this high ground, right? Like, you let Nigma run into you.
Potentially play around this high ground. The thing is, you want to be farming, so
But Kasani,
like they are falling a bit too far behind.
Ooh. Mind Control almost had him there.
Good turn here, though.
Yep. He's stuck. He got blocked in by the Manta illusions. Mind Control has nowhere to run. He needs some assistance. I don't know if he's going to get the hook shot. Comes out of GH. The Chrono goes down onto the illusion. No! Kasani! What? Clockwork's going to die. They might lose more. They didn't kill Mind Control. They never finished him off. He's going to come back in. Melee's has to run away. Yules is going to be there to disrupt his escape. He's going to be covered. False Promise going to be forced out. Miracle going even deeper. They're going to leash two together. Lorinov needs to move in sync with his Oracle. Diffuse going to come out to Miracle. Looking for a target here. Going to get help with the Blood Ray. Able to move away from the moment. The Manta is not good enough. He's going to fall. Mind Control with the reinitiation in on Delina. Can they do enough damage to the Exo is the real question here. They're getting Oracle low. Aina is gone. Kasani able to sidestep and move away in the meantime. Nigma probably should have lost a lot more than what they did for what happened there, but Kasani with the Chrono onto what I believe was an illusion, and only an illusion, was the actual blessing for Nigma there. Their own savior coming from the opponent's side.
Yeah, exactly. Mind Control just he dove way too deep. I think this was a very similar situation how the last fight right outside their base, and I would say Nigma. And Void had, I think, some really good chances to set up a Chrono that he would sort of salvage the, or not just salvage, but make the fight very good for them. They at least coming up a bit short there.
Yeah, they at least get this little side kill on Kuros. They get something. The hook shot was able to stop his TP out, but I mean, the question on my mind, because I'm sure some people have this for, like, is this Nigma being like, okay, you know, we know we are a tier 1, not a cocky way, but we know we're a tier 1 team. We know Gambit is less seasoned. They're just kind of maybe playing over aggressive and seeing if it works, not really caring about the other outcome, or is this kind of them at this point having this lead feeling that they need to push this, they have to starve Gambit out, and it's worth the risks of these sometimes failing moves?
I think it's like the idea of trying to very aggressive and high tempo Dota, but I think sometimes they take it a little bit too far. I've guy, he can can get a little bit caught up in the moment sometimes. Take things far. I would think that Miracle is also one of those guys who can just maybe in certain scenarios he can get a little bit ahead of himself. Far and evidently mind control. Well, potentially because like that they are large at least Gambit squad.
Yeah, it must be infectious because usually mind control, like that's the one we're talking about. That he's that anchor, right? He's that recovery point, that control for Nigma that keeps them in check. But even he seems to have just got a little bit of a mad cow disease.
Say that he
might actually be tempted to say such a thing,
but you wouldn't though.
It's low-bearing fruits. You ever have like funny nicknames for things? Like I've noticed you like calling Pango's old roly-poly.
Yeah, I think that was that might have been. I feel like it's probably CC that I got it from.
I could imagine it.
The roly-poly. I don't know. There are just some of these names that they're kind of too good to pass up on.
Yeah.
And then once it sticks, sometimes it's also like initially just like nah.
He's got the ag. Mind control can do what he wants now. You don't want to touch it. Miracle is coming as well. Melis has hung around too long. The fuel's going to go out. X-Sword's going to be there. And that's going to trap him. The Chrono though is going to be there. Force promise keeps one secret alive. Look at the shotgun. Miracle. People alone. They're trying to save the W, but it's not good enough. They've lost the Riki. The mind control. He can turn around on the face point. Now the bash control is going to come out. Is it good enough? He gets out just in time. Keisani able to escape. The egg on the high ground. Shoot the Turk Gambit. They don't have vision, so Lorinov has to run and hide. Vampire is far away from his team, however. There is nowhere for this Clockwork to hide. Oh my, and again, despite how it looks, despite how the start of that fight looked, Nigma once again building a big goal lead off the back of that fight, now up to 9,000 net worth lead.
Yeah, once again, Miracle just a little bit too pure on the let's go in button. Yeah, he goes down a bit too quickly there. He doesn't have a save, right? There's no Oracle in his race. Like, why are you an Oracle?
Okay, this man isn't a fish, he's a shark. The bash is coming out, I'll control him, he's going to go straight for the kill on the hind. The Oracle is being brought low, the bash is working out for him, the stun control turnaround on the void will force him away. Vampire has got the hook shot. They could look to re-engage Kuro. Hook shot's a whiff though. They miss it. He gets up onto the high ground, able to move away. Spider-Legs save the day. Now the re-initiation on the melee. His control looks good. He doesn't want to be in melee form here though. We'll be able to get away. Cogs will zone Nigma. They're just relentless. They're like, no, fight. More blood. Okay, like I've got a dentist appointment to get to. This needs to be over fast. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing in Miracle's cuts. Guys, honestly, back him up. Whenever he decides to take things a little bit too far, he's got me to rely on. He's covered very nicely from a little bit wonky deaths maybe earlier on. He's now a bit Shiva. He's got the blink fuel, so he's ready to also just jump. Fight. Gonna get the Miracle mind control. Gonna be incredibly difficult. Yeah, you can chrono him, but you might not even have enough damage to kill him.
No, that's the concern, right? Like he hasn't died once in this game. Your one chance was top, and I don't think I'm not sure if you can get another chance. Vampire, look at the hook shot out, but Miracle sees all. Would have been a miracle if he could have got out. It'll be a miracle if Lorinov can get out because mind control is hunting. He's got the crush and he'll get it there in time. Lorinov is screwed. Nice blink sidestep. Mind control just outplaying him. Gets Miracle the double kill. Canva, I mean, they're having to make sessions everywhere. Anywhere they go, they have to bow and let Nigma have it. And the problem is, can you really do that if Nigma now turn their attention towards your base?
Oh, it's gonna be very difficult now. You have the completed Skadi on the void, so bumping his HP up just a little bit, some more damage. The Skadi gonna help a bit again. Siphon.
Yeah, the Sunray as well. It's because that's the other thing, right? Like some of these Chronos are awkward because if Phoenix is there on the side, just burn healing. You might miss out on the kills.
Yeah, but if you look at the net worth on Gambit though, they're 13k behind, but on top of that, the Lina's net worth is, I want to say like 7,000, 8,000 of this net worth is invested into Yours, the core staff, boots of travel, bottle. They're not all defensive, but they actually don't provide any sort of fighting.
The way they're being used in this game is defensive. It is what you're getting at, right?
Yeah, exactly. The Bloodseeker ATOS, it doesn't actually add either any fighting capability. Their team fight is already a little bit lacking, so the Clockwork doesn't provide a lot in team fights. They basically don't have any team fight almost whatsoever, except for this Blood Rite Chrono and spells combo. That's why they're in a very tough position.
They're gonna look to use that Chrono. Miracle has got an Aegis though, so you have to be very fast at the first life. And he might dodge this. It's a long TP. They're not looking in the right place though. It looks like Miracle will not bite the bullet here. And while that's happening, look at the top lane. We says, where the hell are they? He'll just exo up straight away. It's like, get the hell back in your base, Gambit. Jeez, when I said when I come for your base, where you gonna run, I didn't mean it literally. So let's see they got back in time before that tier 3 would fall, because this is a level 3 exo. We might feel tempted to go in though, because he wants some value out of it. Good luck getting through mind control.
Nigma are not really in a hurry to force things here. Take tier 3 here, go back with the end of the exo.
Nice blink away by We. Initiation by Miracle on the side. Nullifier out to Clockwork. Not enough damage to kill him off though. Cogs to push him away. Used to control him up. LSA. Oh, timed beautifully. He tried for the Manza dodge. They're going to bring down the first life. They have got a Chrono for the second, but the Basket Man means that he can't escape. The Chrono has to go down now. Cogs promised to save him. Egg on the side though. Used to control him up. Maybe they get through him in time. Miracle. He's alive. He gets out as a Miracle itself. As they turn around, they bring Lauren off down. Kasani is forced to retreat, leaving Clockwork behind. They're in the base, and now that they have actually found a footing, you can guarantee Nigma are very unlikely to leave.
I feel like in this scenario, this is where I think TPE will just so much more useful. For this Void here.
LS is going to be okay. I mean, we talked about it at length throughout the BKB. There's just so many things you have to dodge out and deal with. And then when you think about the support and cast on top, you start to kind of lean into the talk of it, right? Like this whole idea that you've got like these ATOS as lowest, all these defensive items. Usually if you want a POS one that's going to carry you, the thing we see a lot of teams do right now is that complementary build, right? Where it's things like Solar Crest, Lads, anything that unlocks the full potential of the hero. But it's all on Kasani, yet there's nothing to support him, if that makes sense. At least in terms of buffing him up directly.
No, I don't know. I feel like there's quite a few kind of odd things here. The Clockwork Peak, one of them, the Bloodseeker, the ATOS, is not really helping them all that much in these fights.
But look, he stopped Wii from running away for 2 seconds. I don't think Wii wants to run away.
Microcontrol also just he's hitting with a status resistance at this point. He's got the Titan Slayer, he's got the S and Y, he's got the, you know, the axe.
I mean,
it's like stun me please. My friend stun.
I just want to paint a clown face on him right now. You can just imagine him saying, "Hit me." He wants you to hit him because you do absolutely no damage. I just feel bad for Vampire in that situation. Imagine being the final pick of the game. Imagine having all these high hopes, and then imagine having 3 kills, 15 deaths, and 5 assists to your name at this point in the game. He makes up half of Nigma's kills.
Has fallen.
At least he's part of half of something.
I mean, he's part of 2/3 of his team. You're right.
He's got a high kill participation, you know. You can interpret that the way you want to.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I felt bad after highlighting the 15 deaths. Remember the start of this, when we were talking about how Vampire, well known, you know, this guy really delivers from the postal role. Never got a chance in this game.
I think he's had a lot of good performance. The recent where I've seen Gambit, maybe, you know, like now they're up against some tougher teams.
You think it was like comfort pick in their mind, maybe? They were like, oh, this is what we're comfortable playing.
It could be, definitely. But I feel like that can be a dubious thing to do. Consider, you know, how good to do it. How good a player is with this.
Are they they're gonna try for this? I mean, what am I talking about? Mind Control will try for anything he sees. Like, how do you kill him? Try. I dare you. There is literally no way. No possible way. The splashing McDuff is gonna fall. Soulmine comes up, hook shot in, Chrono's gonna be there. Mind control, can they get through it? Maybe they bring them low enough. Shotgun to get him down to the Laguna, they get him! Dead for 75. They'll find the kill line. The buybacks will come out both sides as they're trying to get involved quickly here. We stand his ground, will force Kasani away, but Lena's gonna fall. Lauren off dead on the back line. Egg down, trying to get through it in time. They will be able to scramble her. But can you turn around now? The stun control is gonna come in. Mind controllers re-arrive into the fight, looking for vengeance on a Kasani. They'll find it. They bring him down. Miller's gonna be forced away. The Chi-Chi is gonna come out. That was Gambit's last Gambit, and they knew it.
They got through Splashy McDuff?
Splashy McDuff.
Yeah, they managed to finally get through him, you know, all that raw HP. Then you had a lot of DP try to get through, and Riki just dealing too much damage with Amp. GH, even though the egg does die, it bought them a lot of time in that. At the end, it's just like Gambit's